And now, Knock2 Studios presents Common Censored.
My king and queen, I was just entertaining this lady.
It's a dude.
Before you speak, Persian, know that in Sparta, everyone, even if you cut off your genitals, you'll be called a biological male. Now, what message do you bring?
Gender education.
You rode all the way from Persia for gender education.
Do not be coy or stupid. We don't need education from a man who thinks he's a woman.
What makes this woman think she's speaking to a man?
Because only a real woman can give life to our planet.
Let us walk to cool our tongues.
If you value your Instagram over your complete annihilation, listen carefully, Leonidas. Xerxes conquers and controls every social media he rests his eyes upon. He has a pronoun so massive, it shakes the tongue with its length. So vast, it shrinks the brains away. All the God King Xerxes requires is this, a simple rainbow in your bio. Token of Sparta's submission to the LGBTQ community.
Submission.
Well, that's a bit of a problem. Looks like it's you who's in need of a gender education.
We must try not to get cancelled.
Prepare to be cancelled!
You will give me your corporate number, Leonidas, or it will be your end. Chill out, Daddy. I'm just a lady.
See? You want my corporate number? You can find it down there.
No man, Persian or Greek, no man threatens a transgender.
You bring the crowns and heads of cancelled kings to my city steps. You insult masculinity. You threaten my people with cancellation and death. Oh, I've chosen my education carefully, boy. Perhaps
You assume me again. This is madness.
Madness.
This is biology!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Common Censored. This is madness. This is biology. What's up? Oh man, let's see. Who is that by? Who did this video? Thanks, Crazy B, for sending that one over. This is from LGB L _ G _ B. Fucking hilarious. That was a good one. Thank you guys for being here. All of you censored commoners. This is Common Censored episode 216. All kinds of crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos to cover today, as usual, as all Americans' social security numbers may have been hacked and stolen. Trump considers firing his campaign managers, including Susie Willis, the Pfizer-connected bad girl, and Ilhan Omar has won a sketchy re-election. Make sure to join us Monday through Friday, 6:30-ish p.m. Eastern Time as we cover all this craziness. Use hashtag CommonCensored and hashtag InfoInfantry when you share the broadcast. Let us know how many times you shared so we can rank you up and give you promotions in the InfoInfantry. Pick your branch: Army, Navy, Marines, Space Force, etc., Air Force, Coast Guard. You can find us on X at Lord Sterling _ on Truth, Gab, Getter, Minds, etc. All those good places at variations of Common Censored, either _ Common Censored or just Common Censored. I'll put together a list. Sorry, I keep forgetting to do that. Thanks to all of our new followers over on Rumble. Let's see what we're at right now. We've got, we're up to 1,065. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Links to all of the topics we discussed today videos, articles, etc. will be posted down in the description immediately following the broadcast. So if you're watching this later on and you're pressed for time, you need to focus and maximize the attention of your energy and time, click down there, find the topics that interest you. Mama Mac will be adding timestamps as well throughout the broadcast, so you can jump right to the point in the episode for the topics in which you are interested. Make sure to throw Mama Mac some love as well and head on over to alpllama.com when you have a chance. Let me bring this up on screen. Boom, there we go. Avoid the petrochemical-based pharmaceutical industry that wants you sick and dependent, and try out some natural tincture remedies over here at alpllama.com. They also have delicious herbal teas as well. Tranquility, Serenity, Spring Floral Tea, Women's Health Organic Herbal Tea. These are delicious. Can't say the same thing about the tinctures. Tastes bad, but so good for you. AF Girly, thanks for joining us. Good to see you, Jamie. Hope all is well. And yeah, you can hit up our link tree if you want to support the show directly. There you can find our merch, our affiliate links, Golden Cocoon, particularly Protect Your Dome piece with an EMF protection beanie. Really good products over there made with organic cotton and bamboo lyocell silver fiber fabric, which erases, it blocks EMF up to 99.99%. Pretty awesome stuff. Protect your body and your brain. Protect your gonads with a scarf or a blanket if you use your laptop on your lap. Always a good idea. And you can find links to our merch and everything over there as well. Thanks again for supporting the show. Let's jump into the news after a brief disclaimer. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Boom! And we're going to be ending the broadcast at 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight, so we can all head over to Unique Prepping, who's going to be having a panel tonight, which I will be joining. I see Z-Man over in the chat over there, so when the time comes, I'm going to pin a link to the YouTube broadcast up at the top of our live chat, so we can all head over and go hang out with the Z-Man and the Unique Prepping crew over there. Shout out to you, Zach. Hope you're having a good week, brother. Ed, we love you. We love you, Ed. Just saying. I see you complaining over there that we're not giving you enough love. Oh, man. All right. So that was pretty funny. This is biology. Let's jump into the news with Donald J. Trump considering firing campaign managers Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles. It was Susie Wiles who was brought to our attention a few months ago as having all kinds of crazy big pharma connections and possibly pushing Trump in the direction of still backing all of that coof, jab, chaos stuff that's going on. This is Jim Hoft writing at Gateway Pundit. Former President Donald J. Trump is reportedly considering a significant shakeup within his campaign team. Two former aides who have since turned against Trump claimed that he's considering firing campaign managers Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles, according to the Daily Mail. We were saying fire Susie Wiles months ago. So please fire Susie Wiles. The alleged turmoil within the Trump camp comes as mainstream media reports suggest that the race between Trump and Kamala is tightening. However, these reports are nothing more than liberal propaganda intended to sow discord among Trump supporters. Almost said trunk. Trump supporters. According to the Rasmussen report, quote, Trump is beating Kamala Harris just like he was beating Biden. Remember, the numbers said she polled worse than him for 4 years? Yeah. And all of a sudden, they're trying to claim that everybody loves. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize didn't have it on screen. Thanks, Mama Mac. Derp. Yeah. So here's the article from Gateway Pundit. Yeah, Kamala was losing to Biden in the polls for 4 years straight, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, she's like a messiah or something, and everybody is obsessed with how great Kamala is, and it's all bullshit. We're being lied to as usual. Rasmussen reports, sometimes it is lonely being an independent pollster with integrity. Trump is beating Kamala Harris. just like he was beating Biden. Remember the 4 years she polled worse than him? Yeah. Don't let the embargo of the other polling fool anyone. Democrats are in real trouble, Rasmussen added. Rasmussen basically saying the other places are manipulating their polls, just like we've been saying forever. Natron in the chat. Good to see you, bro. Boom. I hope you're having a kick-ass day, bro. And I forgot to mention that it is, in fact, Hump Day.
Hump Day!
Hump Day! So hopefully everybody gets a few good humps in. But yeah, this would be good. Hopefully he will fire Susan Wiles. Sarah Matthews, former Trump spokeswoman who has since defected to the other side, told MSNBC that she believes Trump feels the election slipping away from him. Well, that's not the reason to fire them. Fire Susan Wiles because she's a big pharma scumbag. How about that? This crazy lady, Sarah Matthews, suggested that this perceived threat is causing him to spiral and lash out at his own team. Anthony Scaramucci, another fun name to say. What is it? I like saying Papadopoulos. Scaramucci is another good one. Scaramucci, will you do the fandango? Another vocal ex-Trump staffer who claims to still have close ties with the former president's inner circle, revealed on The Rest is Politics podcast that Trump is, quote, lighting people up inside his campaign. Scaramucci claims Trump is so enraged with the direction of his campaign that he's contemplating cutting ties with LaCivita and Wiles, two individuals whom even Scaramucci begrudgingly admits are, quote, very talented people. LaCivita previously shared a tweet calling one of the best attorneys general in America, Ken Paxton, corrupt. Wow, didn't we already have like a whole trial about him being potentially corrupt? And that all went nowhere. By the way, Big As Life, thank you so much for the colossal Rumble rant over there, brother. Really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, look at this. Chris LaCivita, Texas voters should ignore Trump's endorsement of corrupt AG Ken Paxton, like the one sane guy in Texas government down there. The only good guy. We can't really trust Abbott, etc. This Paxton seems pretty legit, in my opinion. Let me know in the chat what you guys think about Paxton. Ed Hoskins, Rumble is not showing me we are live. That's interesting. It's working for me over here, Ed. Wish I could help you out, brother. Not exactly sure what's going on. And here are some of the allegations. LaCivita reportedly liked tweets, including those advocating for Trump to be removed from office using the 25th Amendment in response to January 6th. Yeah. Your campaign manager saying you should be removed from office? Yeah. Kick him out. Kick him out. Why was Trump campaign manager Chris LaCivita liking tweets suggesting Trump should be locked down on January 6th? Why did Chris like tweets from Barbara Comstock, who told Republicans to, quote, move on from Trump, unquote, and suggested use of the 25th Amendment? Because the whole time that Trump's been in power or since he became a politician, he's had wolves on the inside of his campaign sabotaging him, like when he verbally made Sidney Powell a special counsel in the week leading up to Christmas 2020. And then when she tried to come back to the White House, his inner circle barred her entry and refused to even let him know that she had arrived. So yeah, people on the inside of Trump's campaign are sabotaging him from within. Mike Cernovich slammed Chris LaCivita, accusing him of blocking Project 2025 staffers, which include Steve Bannon, Project Heritage, and more from the White House. Similar type of thing, blocking people from the White House, just like I was just saying, and warns that he's, quote, gearing up for a coup. Sounds about right to me. Cernovich said Project 2025 people who were around in 2016 and 2020, loyal to the end. Hop over to his post. In 2021, Chris LaCivita wanted Trump indicted for treason because of January 6th. That's why Chris is pushing out Project 2025 staffers. He's preparing a coup against Trump. We got to get rid of these hoes, man. Scaramucci, who has made a career out of criticizing Trump since his unceremonious exit from the White House, suggested Trump's recent absence from the campaign trail is a sign of his anger. Hopefully it's a sign of him trying to stay safe and not get lit up again. Stay in the basement. Let us handle it. Just start inviting a flood of streamers to Mar-a-Lago and just do half-hour interviews all over alternate platforms on Rumble and YouTube and X with streamers. That will win you the election. Reach the real people. You're going to reach way more people like that than doing news interviews or rallies. He's pissed, Scaramucci said. This supposed anger is allegedly why Trump isn't actively barnstorming through key swing states, though he's scheduled to speak in North Carolina this Wednesday and plans to tour more battleground states next week. One particular point of contention, according to Scaramucci, is Trump's choice to endorse J.D. Vance, a decision that he claims Trump himself reportedly regrets. Wow, he picked Vance. He knows Vance was a terrible, terrible pick, Scaramucci said. However, Dan Bongino said that Trump not being happy with J.D. Vance is bullshit. I would tend to align with Bongino here, and we know that people who leave Trump's campaign and stuff are always making up lies and trying to sow chaos, so this whole story could be bullshit, but I really want him to fire Susan Wiles, particularly, and definitely Les Savita as well, now knowing that he wanted him locked up for treason. Mandy J. Lawson. What's up, Mandy? Hope you're having a good hump day. Thanks for being here. So who knows, guys? Let's check out what Bongino's saying over here.
What I'm going to do here. Well, maybe they do, because I sent them the article a few minutes ago. Get your friends, text your friends right now, Bongino Army. Tell them they need to tune in. They don't have to watch the whole show if they know. They got to watch this right now. We have two big problems right now in this election. It's not the VP selection. It's not Trump's messaging. That's all bullshit. It's none of that stuff, okay? Forget that. Throw that in the garbage. We heard that in 2016, and he went on to win. Pretty handily, by the way, in the Electoral College, okay? We have two things going on. There's a lot of internal sabotage going on right now that I honestly did not want to highlight because I would like to stay focused on the Democrats, and I was hoping it would go away. It's not, and now we're going to out it today. And second, the media is now gone, I mean, full-blown Pravda. I mean, beyond Pravda. They'll actually make Pravda look like honest brokers. Let's address the sabotage.
As usual. First. I mean, this has been going on forever.
I'm sitting here, I'm putting the show together, and it's late. This is probably the latest cut I ever said over to my team. Right before I walked upstairs. And I said, guys, you got to put this in the show. I see this Daily Mail article, August 14, 2022. I believe that's today, right? Inside Trump's meltdown. The ex-president is lighting up his staff because he's pissed about picking J.D. Vance. As insiders feel he's going to fire two extremely talented campaign gurus. Martha Williams, Daily Mail. Again, I was going to let this go, not because I didn't want to put it out there or expose it, but because I want to stay focused on winning, and I felt like it was a distraction, and all I care about is cutesy time being over and winning. I care about ruthless political tactics. That's all I care about. However, this is getting tiresome. Folks in the chat, any idea what's going on with this article?
Yeah, people disgruntled leaving the campaign and trying to stir up drama and divide the
Kellyanne
the
Conway.
crowd.
Oh, yeah. I'm hearing some things from some people for a while now that she's probably not that happy about J.D. Vance being picked. I'm telling you, I talk to people a lot who know a lot of things. This story, put that headline up again, is bullshit. And ladies and gentlemen, it's no secret I like J.D. Vance. I'm telling you this with absolute objectivity. I have not spoken to J.D. Vance about this, but I have spoken to other people. This story about President Trump being upset about picking J.D. Vance is bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. He killed it on this weekend show. Of course, there was going to be an oppo drop after J.D. Vance was picked. If they picked Rubio, Bergram, or Tim Scott or anyone else, there was going to be an oppo drop. J.D. Vance smooth sailed right through that, crushed it on the weekend shows, and is now lighting up the internet with viral clips. This story's BS.
Thanks again, Big as Life. And yeah, I'm lining up with Bongino in this. I doubt the J.D. Vance part of this is true, at least. Hopefully the other part's true, because we want to get rid of Susan Wiles, particularly being a big pharma shill. Big time. So let's jump on over to our next topic. This one's a little bit unnerving for all of the Americans out there who could be affected by this. Holy balls, man. Roz Alerts posting this at Roz Alerts. Breaking: every American's social security number may have been stolen in a major new hack, with over 2.7 billion records allegedly compromised from national public data. The stolen information includes social security numbers and physical addresses. So, yay. It's time to get like, what do they call that? LifeLock or something? One of those companies that locks down all your stuff so that even if your social security gets out, that people can't do anything. Dom Luker covering it also. Hackers may have stolen every American social security number and physical address from national public data. This was inevitable. About 2.9 billion records now. This is one of the largest data breaches of all time.
But it's not limited to. Information collected in the breach includes, but is not limited to, legal names, 30 years of address history, family information, and even social security numbers, some taken from people who have been dead for at least 20 years. That information was posted on the dark web on April 8th, and at this point there have been no official notification made to the affected parties.
So they use a lot of anonymization tools that kind of hides their identity, hides their location, and that's why it's a little bit difficult for law enforcement agencies to track them. But they've been doing a great job in tracking those individuals and catching them. But there's always going to be somebody who's going to be hiding somewhere in some basement behind a keyboard doing these kind of activities.
Regardless, data breaches will continue to be common, and keeping your information safe just comes down to good cyber hygiene.
Don't feel guilty if you are a victim of a breach. Don't panic, stay calm, and go through the process of freezing and monitoring your accounts. But the basic cyber hygiene tools, again, keep your software up to date, keep your browsers up to date, avoid phishing links, clicking on random links here and there.
Yeah, don't click on that link for those boner pills that look like they're at 80% discount. They're trying to fish for your information. That was another way that information got stolen in the TV show Person of Interest, which I keep telling you guys to watch. It's really good.
Cautious about these social engineering kind of attacks that try to steal your information.
And check out joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Joindeleteme.com/Bongino. They will go through and you can sign up and they'll delete all of they'll request removals of your personal information from over 700 plus data brokers. So it could be a way to help eliminate your internet footprint. Worth looking into. Joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Let's continue.
And again, Mansour says the best thing to do if you discover your information was leaked is to freeze your accounts, watch them closely, and if needed, you can call the FTC's Social Security Theft Hotline. Sean.
Some good advice. Thank you, Matt.
Call the theft hotline. After everybody's gotten their information stolen, like they'll be able to do anything. They'd probably just overrun with calls right now. Probably can't even get through. If it's anything like how they... Big ass life. If it's anything like the police situation where people are calling and getting automated messages, effectively, or no answer at all, like, for rape, press 1. We're unable to assist you at this moment. For robbery, press 2. You know, hopefully it's not like that for identity theft as well. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see if anything comes of this. How about this for another story? There was some dude at a Vance event or something, or was it Trump or Vance? Pretending to be a Secret Service agent recently. Remember, he got arrested, or he was pretending to be a U.S. Marshal or something. Now we have a man impersonating a Secret Service agent spotted checking backpacks at a J.D. Vance event in Detroit. What the fuck? Checking backpacks? Who knows? He could have been putting stuff in backpacks when they go in. This is a highly sketchy situation. Who authorized this? Christina Layla wrote this article. A man impersonating a Secret Service agent was spotted at a J.D. Vance event in Michigan on August 7th. What in the... A man who is not a Secret Service agent was spotted wearing a Secret Service patch on an armored vest issued by another federal agency. What? Real Clear Investigations reporter Susan Crabtree presented the photo to the Secret Service, and they confirmed the man was improperly wearing a Secret Service patch. Isn't that a felony? Shouldn't this dude be arrested immediately and thrown in the clink? Quote, the U.S. Secret Service became aware of a photo where a member of another law enforcement agency is improperly wearing a Secret Service patch. Corrective action has been taken and guidance has been distributed to the workforce regarding the use of agency insignias. Doesn't sound harsh enough to me. This is so sketchy, man. This is so sketchy. Sounds good, Ed. Have fun with the girl. Have fun. According to Susan Crabtree, the individual in the photo is a Homeland Security Investigations special agent. Wasn't it people from Homeland Security that were also pretending to be Secret Service after Jill Biden had an event and most of Trump's Secret Service detail was called away to help with Jill Biden, and Homeland Security was posing as Secret Service on J13. So this is highly sketchy. Any involvement of Homeland Security pretending to be Secret Service immediately makes me think of July 13th, potential assassination. They better, all these people whose bags he was checking better look through to make sure that he didn't put any pipe bombs or anything in there. Quote, I've since discovered that the individual in the photos is a Homeland Security investigation special agent or officer. They mainly specialize in investigating transnational crime and violations of the customs and immigration laws of the United States. HSI, TSA, and other federal law enforcement agencies have historically and are continuing to assist the Secret Service with tasks such as magnetometer screening and other, quote, non-discretionary, unquote, assignments to help ensure the security of presidential, vice presidential candidates granted USSS protection, the agency told me. She said, that said, no external agencies serve in direct protective or organizational capacities for the Secret Service, except for July 13th, where they had Homeland Security surrounding Trump. That lady who couldn't holster her gun, wasn't she supposedly Homeland Security? This is a huge, huge security risk, especially after the failures that led to an attempted assassination against President Trump. Quote, there's a massive security risk because if all someone has to do is make a fake Secret Service patch and throw it on themselves and walk around the site, how are normal Secret Service agents supposed to be able to tell who is who? A source in the Secret Service community said to Susan Crabtree. Even worse, non-Secret Service agents are not properly trained to inspect bags at entry points and events, and someone is giving them authority to enter Secret Service-only sites. This is fucking crazy. Who is this guy? Throw him in jail. You can't be wearing Secret Service patches, checking people's bags, if you're not a Secret Service guy. So, like, if anybody else were to do this and pretend to be a federal agent of some variety or a cop, you'd be arrested with felonies, right? Isn't it highly, highly illegal to impersonate a law enforcement officer? Super, super sketchy. Let's jump to our next topic and visit the World Health Organization with Tedros. Here we go. Pro-China. World Health Organization declares monkeypox outbreak a global health emergency just months before the presidential election. Cullen Linebarger wrote this one. The Chinese-friendly World Health Organization announced today that a global emergency has been declared over a recent monkeypox outbreak in Africa, less than 3 months before Americans are scheduled to vote for president. Communist News Network reported that World Health Organization convened its emergency Mpox committee amid concerns that a deadlier strain of the virus had spread into 4 additional regions of Africa. More than 17,000 cases and more than 500 deaths have been reported in 13 countries in Africa since the beginning of 2024, according to the outlet. The monkeypox outbreak had previously been contained to the Democratic Republic of Congo. According to the outlet, independent, quote, experts, unquote, on the committee met virtually Wednesday to advise WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus to emphasize the, quote, severity, unquote, of the situation. Following the discussion, Tedros announced that he had declared a public health emergency of international concern, PHEIC, the highest level of health alarm under international law. Let's look at this loser.
Today, the emergency committee met and advised me that, in its view, the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern.
Did he say, oh, I thought he said public health emergency of international concern.
I have accepted that advice. The detection and rapid spread of a new clade of Mpox in eastern DRC, its detection in neighboring countries that had not previously reported Mpox, and the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying. In addition to other outbreaks of other clades of Mpox in other parts of Africa, it's clear that a coordinated international response is essential to stop these outbreaks and save lives.
Mad sketchy. Concerned citizen talking about it also over here. Breaking monkeypox emergency. Quote, it's clear that a coordinated international response is essential. The monkeypox situation constitutes a public emergency of international concern. The potential for spread is very worrying. World Health Organization Director Tedros updating the world on the threat in monkeypox. Did you know Bill Gates funds the WHO and there are already vaccines for monkeypox available? I'm sure that's just a coincidence, guys. Nothing to worry about. This is a world-class trolling on a global scale again. And let me grab this other meme that I have about this real quick. Link was failing, so let me pop it up over here in a different tab. Classic South Park. I can't believe I have monkeypox. How did this happen? The entire month of June. Gay orgies and all kinds of crazy stuff. Dogs coming down with monkeypox. All kinds of pets coming down with monkeypox. Oh, I don't want to know the logistics of how that was happening. In other news, Ilhan Omar has won her re-election in Minneapolis area. It took 95 minutes for 5% of the vote to come in. Then within 5 minutes, the count went up to more than 95% in. And calling the race for Ilhan Omar, not suspicious at all, you guys. Minnesota 5th Congressional District primary election results. Ilhan Omar winning by 56.2%. I smell a rat over here. I smell a rat. That's right, AF Girlie, who says she cheated as per usual. Yeah, you guys had one job. You had one job, or you had, more properly, you had one hijab. Get rid of her. Get rid of her. So now it's time to lay down the plans for what to do when it all falls apart. And we have a meme for that as well. Of course, the link isn't working, so boom, there, found it. Gator and Whiskey. If you guys are wondering who Gator and Whiskey are, the leaders of our Special Operations Underground Squirrel Division. Gator and Whiskey. These guys rule. Let me see if I can fix this so you can see the full meme there. Yeah, laying down plans for when it all comes down. Look at that hat, man. That's legendary. I got another one with them both wearing tinfoil hats. But the paradigm has evolved, and so have the tinfoil hats. So make sure to check out our link to our affiliate link to Golden Cocoon to grab your EMF protection gear. Let's do a little flashback to the 2020 election. Actually, before we do that, let's get Ilhan Omar's response to winning from Bubble Bath Girl Paul A. Cipula over here. Ilhan Omar falsely claims that her black opponent Don Samuels worked with literal Nazis to try to defeat her. So much for toning down the violent rhetoric.
This campaign has been one of the ugliest, most disgusting campaign against me that I've ever witnessed. We
Didn't you marry your brother to get him in the country? Just asking. Allegedly, of course.
Had an opponent that was willing to align with literal Nazis in order to defeat us. We had an opponent.
Thanks, JJR, our newest mod, JJR SVL. Make sure to sub to JJR SVL on Rumble. Thanks, brother, for your continuous support of the show. Big ups. Appreciate you, man.
That weaponized and scandalized.
All right, Ilhan Omar speaking to her supporters tonight in a tone that shows the aggressiveness of what she perceived this campaign to be.
The competitive nature of this particular race.
Yeah, she's. Remember, like the Free Palestine rallies where they're holding up cell phones with pictures of Nazi swastikas specifically on them and everything. Yeah, so she's probably more closely aligned to Nazis than her black opponent. Oh man. In other related news, Ilhan Omar says more Americans should be fearful of white people because they cause most of the deaths in this country.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
Statistics say elsewise, Representative Omar, but whatever. Now let's jump back to 2020 and give a little bit of the refresher on some of the allegations of election fraud that were being, alleged for her district in the 2020 election. Flashback to 2020, where a whistleblower came forward regarding ballot harvesting in Ilhan Omar's district. I'm sure, that was all false, though, right? Whatever happened to that police investigation? Oh, yeah, nothing. It just vanished. Typical.
And tonight we know the Minneapolis Police Department will investigate the allegations. A report by a conservative watchdog group called Project Veritas alleges to uncover a scheme to get older Somali voters to turn over absentee ballots to people harvesting votes for a Minneapolis City Council candidate, Jamal Osman, and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. A video posted by Project Veritas shows what looks like absentee ballot envelopes, but there's no way to say for sure they contain ballots. The video also shows a man identified as Liban Mohammed going door to door collecting ballots in the Cedar Riverside apartments, where a large Somali population lives.
2 in the morning, still hustling. 2 in the morning, still hustling.
I think it was both Ilhan Omar and Jamal, but I think he was more with Ilhan Omar.
Omar Jamal is the latest brave Project Veritas insider to come forward and expose a voter fraud scheme in Minnesota that will shock you.
Well, I want to be part of this investigation because of ongoing election fraud that we feel that we should bring to the attention of everyone.
Now, Omar Jamal has not responded to numerous messages that we've left for him today. The report says in addition to pressuring senior voters to apply for and then turn over their ballots, the ballot harvesting operation also paid cash to younger voters for ballots. They claim a campaign worker for Congresswoman Omar provided the money. In a statement today, Omar says there's zero truth to that Project Veritas claim, and that Project Veritas has made headlines in the past for its track record of targeting Democratic groups and major media outlets, often by hiding their identities. And
so Ilhan Omar allegedly directly connected to ballot harvesting in her district. Wouldn't surprise me, guys. Wouldn't surprise me. And clearly, as you all know, there's no cure for Ilhan Omar's affliction, as pointed out by Mandy down in the chat.
There's no cure for being a cunt.
Oh, no cure whatsoever. No cure, Ilhan. Hashtag deport Ilhan Omar. Let's see. In other election news, we have some real good news coming out of, what state? Minnesota as well. Thanks, Crazy B, for sharing this one with me. She says, I'm not sure what to think about this other than I'm glad to see people with other backgrounds than lawyers and overeducated fools stepping up. I can only hope he's not corrupted. And I am pretty confident in this guy, B. Ex-NBA player Royce White, I think he's also an MMA fighter, wins GOP primary, will face Amy Klobuchar for Minnesota Senate seat. Royce remains a long shot to win the general election, however. Let's go. Let's throw our support behind Royce White. This dude is based. Janie Johnson posted this, by the way, at JJ Author on X. Credit where it's due. Royce White. This dude is based. He's guest hosted on InfoWars a whole bunch of times doing the 4th hour of the Alex Jones show. So I've got good feelings about Royce White. If we could get him in there into the Senate, it would be a huge upgrade from Amy Klobuchar, clearly. So check out, if you're curious about Royce White, Google his, or not Google, go to band.video, search his name on there. You'll find a whole bunch of examples of him talking about all kinds of stuff as he hosts the InfoWars show, Alex Jones show, specifically in the 4th hour. On numerous occasions, you'll be able to get a good idea for who he is as a person, what he believes in. And it's good stuff. It's just like a lot of the stuff we're saying. So good luck to Royce White. Let's back him bigly and help propel him to victory in Minnesota. It's a long shot, but, long shots are not impossible. Oh, Unique Prepping says, Z-Man says that Royce knows Lou. That's fucking badass, dude. Killer. That's a cool connection. Yeah, Royce is a badass. Totally. In other news, breaking from Alex Jones over here at Real Alex Jones. Speaking of the Alex Jones show, NATO expanding invasion of Russia. Experts warn the trigger for World War III has never been closer. Let's check out some of this one.
They're trying to improve their negotiating positions in the future. But what negotiations could we even talk about with people who are attacking civilian infrastructure, or trying to create threats for nuclear industry facilities? What is there to even talk about with them?
And of course, at least 4 times last 2.5 years, Ukraine has attacked the largest nuclear power plant in the world. The Russians hold there in eastern Ukraine, and it got blown up again. Thank God it didn't melt down, but it was on fire for the last 3 days. And the media said Putin's doing that.
No way.
So this is all just complete and total, absolute crazy town. I mean,
bullshit talking.
Just the headline, NATO forces invade Russia. The headline, largest nuclear power plant in the world on fire. I mean, look at it from miles away. Look at that. And it's being missile attacked. It's being shot by artillery. Yeah. And then they turn around and say Putin did it. Kind of like they said Putin blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, right? Along with the Keebler elves.
The Keeblers. I knew we couldn't trust the Keeblers, guys. I knew it.
Tells you the truth about what's happening next.
I mean, this story is so big. What's happened so big. I'm almost pinching myself that we're here in the year 2024 on August 14th on this Wednesday, talking about a week-long invasion of NATO. That's who's running it, funding it, giving them the weapons, giving them the mercenaries into Russia, out of Ukraine, to draw Russian forces away from the security line they've created and all the rest of it. And it's a major escalation. It's a major provocation to make it look like Ukraine is going to win this war. Obviously, Russia's going to organize, and it's already been.
They have zero chance.
Major combat with these groups, but they flooded
money
a bunch
laundering
of
and
soldiers,
staging a war against
drones
Russia,
and armored vehicles and tanks into rural areas, just invading little towns, blowing everything up, and then the tanks roll out and hide in the woods, and the troops hide in the woods and wait for the Russians to come, and they kill them. And this is why Russia said they went into Ukraine, was the 10 years of destabilization of Ukraine and shelling Russian areas on the border.
Donbass.
And contrary to what the media is spinning, this is only going to harden support for President Putin, who is a moderate compared to the hardliners if he was removed. So here's the headlines. Biden administration says direct contact with Ukraine over invasion of Russia happens every few hours. We'll play the clip in a moment. Kursk attack, a military red line has been crossed. NATO's denying that they were involved, but of course they're running the whole thing. Polish soldiers ramp up training for trench warfare and direct war with Russia. Putin says Ukraine will receive a worthy response over Kursk incursion.
Thanks, Gator.
Putin accuses Kiev of participating in perpetrating war crimes and vows strong response as Ukraine claims to control almost 400 square miles of Russian territory. So the headline is, Russia invaded by NATO. First time since World War II, Russia is being invaded on its territory.
Woof! This
Lindsey
is crazy,
Graham
guys.
has been over there along with Marco Rubio when the whole...
Probably a good time to stock up on the potassium iodide radiation protection for your thyroid and body. Potassium iodide might be something you want to look into at this point.
attack got launched. So they're very, very proud of themselves. Putin pulls units out of Ukraine in humiliating retreat from invasion, says the Sun. Ukraine pounds Russia with drones and says it's advancing deeper. Washington Post. Ukraine seizes more land in a week than Russia managed in 8 months. Russia has said from the beginning it wants that control area on the eastern part of Ukraine. It doesn't want to take all of Ukraine. So this is so dangerous. I want to play a couple clips here. One of them is Biden, clip 12. First public reaction to Zelensky's attack on the Kursk region. And then I want to go to a clip of Putin also talking about this.
Good stuff, Mandy. Glad to hear it.
So here are both of those
Potassium
clips.
iodide.
What do you have to say about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine? Have you spoken with anyone in the Ukrainian government?
I've
Gator,
spoken
good.
with my staff on a regular basis, probably every 4 or 5 hours for the last 6 or 8 days, and it's creating a real dilemma for Putin. And we've been in direct contact, constant contact with the Ukrainians. That's all I'm going to say about it while it's active.
Of the Ukrainians, they're trying to improve their negotiating positions in the future. But what negotiations could we even talk about with people who are attacking civilian infrastructure, or trying to create threats for nuclear industry facilities?
We've seen all the footage out of Kiev, and other places in Ukraine with people having their spinning classes up on roofs and dancing, doing yoga, and out partying and stuff. Russia has specifically not bombed civilian areas. And I don't know if we can say the same thing about Ukraine. They're torturing Russian captives, etc. It's crazy.
What is there to even talk about with them?
And of course, at least 4 times the last 2.5 years, Ukraine has attacked the largest nuclear power plant in the world. The Russians hold there in eastern Ukraine. And it got blown up again. Thank God it didn't melt down, but it was on fire for the last 3 days. And the media said Putin's doing that. So this is all just complete and total, absolute crazy town. I mean, just the headline, NATO forces invade Russia. The headline, largest nuclear power plant in the world on fire. I mean, look at it from miles away. Look at that.
Super sketchy. They're ramping up for some kind of nuclear war, guys. Potassium iodide. Potassium iodide is a chemical compound, a medication and dietary supplement. It is medication used for treating hyperthyroidism in radiation emergencies and for protecting the thyroid gland when certain types of radiopharmaceuticals are used. Look into potassium iodide for protecting yourself from radiation poison. It might not be the end-all be-all if it comes to all-out nuclear war, but it can protect you to some degree. So I would highly recommend looking into that while we still have time, guys, before it's too late. Meanwhile, Russia ready to execute nuclear attacks on NATO targets, according to leaked documents. The documents are from 2008 to 2014. Nonetheless, Western sources have reported leaked Russian plans drawn up between 2008 and 2014 for, quote, a series of overwhelming strikes across Western Europe. Citing documents from Western security sources, Hitler Putin allegedly sought to enable the Russian Navy to execute nuclear strikes within NATO territory were a conflict with the alliance to emerge. Targets would not be solely military, according to William Albuquerque, a former NATO official. Whenever I hear Albuquerque, it makes me think of that Weird Al Yankovic song, in Albuquerque. Quote, there could be hundreds, if not thousands, of targets mapped across Europe, including military and infrastructure targets. Russia is also evidently still capable of transporting nuclear weapons on surface ships, which experts say carry a significant risk of escalation or accident. The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, START, signed by the U.S. and Russia in 1991, was supposed to have eliminated this possibility, although many have often questioned Moscow's adherence to it. Well, NATO didn't adhere to the treaties with Russia as they've continued to get closer and closer and closer. So why would Russia adhere to this at all? If it was us, would we adhere? No, we definitely wouldn't. We haven't adhered to anything. We make these agreements publicly, and then we send in economic hitmen and jackals and overthrow countries all over the world, violating various agreements and international law, using CIA operatives who the CIA will deny if they ever get caught Splinter Cell style. So we're like the chief offender of violating international law. Bill Dozer 74, thanks for reposting on X. Saw that. Appreciate you, brother. Make sure to subscribe to Bill Dozer 74 on Rumble. Broadcasts Thursday nights, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. If you like my commentary and thoughts on things, you will definitely like Bill Dozer. Same vein. Possible targets presented by the FT included the west coast of France, military installations in Norway, Germany, and Estonia, as well as the British port town of Faroe-in-Furness, known for its production of nuclear submarines. Quote, they see tactical nuclear warheads as potentially war-winning weapons, says Jeffrey Lewis, professor at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies at Monterey and an arms control expert. Quote, they're going to want to use them, and they're going to want to use them pretty quickly. So this is a possibility, guys. This is a possibility. Make sure to get that potassium iodide while you still can. I just saw this over on X, and it caught my attention. It's ma'am. So let's see what's going on over here. I haven't watched it yet, but it looks funny.
Oh.
No.
What are you doing?
You do not.
Hey.
You do not.
What are you doing? What? Hey.
You do not take pictures of me.
Look what you're doing.
Right. Look what you're doing, kid.
What? Oh, no.
No.
What are you...
Watch out if you're taking pictures of the transes. Could get out of hand real quick if they drop that femininity front and go to man mode. Like that guy last week we played the clip where he pulled off the wig and started threatening the chick. Oh, man. Please calm down, sir. Please calm down, sir. The best way to calm down an angry trans woman is to say, calm down, sir. Talk about what not to do if you want to de-escalate. Hilarious, Ed. Dude in a blue dress, Mandy. Yeah, terrifying. I should have had the hurl cam ready for that one. Ed Hoskins, kick it in the dick. Assuming it still has one. It was definitely born with one, but whether it still has it is, up for debate. I don't necessarily want to find out. Feel free to go Crocodile Dundee style, Ed, if you want, but not me. I'm walking the other direction. Oh, man. Gator posted this in the chat. Apparently, this was a few minutes ago in Oakland, California. Dom Luker, breaker of narratives, at Dom_Luker, posted this. Developing. 1,000 black men were seen marching, quote, for change, unquote, in Oakland, California. What does that mean? What does that mean? Nice uniforms. Pretty impressive organization. Anybody have any other information about this? Yeah, that's right, Big As Life. It'll still be a sore spot, even if it's been removed. Oh, man. It's so brutal. So brutal! Hebrew Israelites? George asks. Good question. Let's see what the response is. Who knows? Who knows? Dr. Ruiz says yes. Interesting. Hebrew Israelites. Huh. I don't know exactly what that means. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys, in the chat. Nice organization, though, for sure. They're marching in left-right lockstep for the most part, and are all uniformed. It's a pretty impressive sight, if nothing else. Let's jump over to our next topic as the Kamala Mamala heals up. Kamala Harris campaign has admitted to conducting a massive online misinformation scheme with the help of Google. Google claims a glitch in its system allowed the Harris campaign to run counterfeit headlines that appeared to originate from the AP and Reuters. This is so ridiculous. Let's, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Okay, good. Boom. All right, let's watch this clip.
Axios reporting the campaign is giving real news articles a pro-Kamala Harris spin and then using them in Google ads. Martha McCallum's been looking at this, and she joins us now. Good morning to you. Welcome back.
Good morning, Bill.
To see you.
Great to see you.
Get ready for Chicago, all right?
Here we go.
Save that for a moment here.
Apparently not,
The trick was we'll make it like an ad, and we'll reframe the headline so that when you're searching, maybe you see the spot and you read the headline, but maybe you don't understand that it's actually sponsored by the campaign. Show it, guys. Here we go. So this involved what? They cited CNN, NPR, Reuters, Associated Press, The Guardian a lot. And you would see this as you were going through your internet search. And, well, that's cheating.
Wow, it is. You know, this is really, and I should also point out that Google says that there was a glitch in their system that meant that some of the...
It's just a glitch, guys, just like those big short sales for Trump and Rumble, Trump Media Organization and Rumble, where they were just filing errors on J12. Sure. Yeah, this is just totally a glitch too, right?
Sort of barriers that they try to put in to make it clear what this is weren't working Oops. I wonder if it was true for other campaigns as well. We don't know that yet, but they say they're
We're
looking
sorry.
into that. But just as an example, so this is a Guardian headline. VP Harris fights abortion bans. Harris defends reproductive freedom. Well, those things are true. That's a factual statement. That's something that she backs. And so
It's actually an Orwellian statement. Defends baby murder. That's what you meant to say, not reproductive freedom. It's not. Those babies aren't free if you're killing them. Like, the Orwellian language always gets me.
reports. But then they have a description under the headline. So you know how there's a headline when you read a news story, then there's an under headline.
Val McGinnis, good to see you, Val McGinnis. Thank you so much for joining us. What are you watching over on YouTube? Yeah. Thanks for being here. Always a pleasure to see you, Val.
That you read in the news story. But it says this: VP Harris is a champion for reproductive freedom and will stop Trump's abortion bans. So the second line in what looks like a news story is actually a campaign slogan, a campaign statement. And, we all look at so much information, take in so many things so quickly throughout the day, right? This is very subtle, very manipulative. And in a moment when you also have a stepped up threat from Iran trying to get their bots into all of this and influence people in ways that are very subtle and difficult to figure out, this is something that I think requires a lot of diligence on the part of people who are.
Iran? Are you kidding me? Google themselves. Change the search results to manipulate the way people think. They got popular by providing good results. The most clicked, the top viewed results would show at the top. Now, it's what they want you to think is the top results, what they want you to think people are clicking on. They're manipulating you by manipulating the appearance of the information landscape. Same thing goes with the searches. When you're typing searches and the suggested searches pop up underneath, they're manipulating that. Who cares? Iran bots. Oh, Iran bots. You think they have any effect in comparison to Google as a whole, compared to the controlled corporate media as a whole, compared to the bully pulpit as a whole? No, Iran is like a drop in the bucket. Yeah, that's right, Ed. They think we're stupid. Iran has no effect, just like Russia had no effect in 2016. These people are lying scumbags. Faux news.
Looking for this information.
And Google says it's just what? They got one by the goalie?
Yeah, Google says, well, there was a glitch. There's supposed to be more disclosure that this is an ad, a campaign ad, and they're going to work on it.
So ridiculous. We're sorry. I'm going to have to get a clip for that from South Park to be able to play it every time they claim, oh, it's just an error for whatever topic we're talking about, because it seems like it's happening more and more and more nowadays. Let's jump over to our next one. This is a Photoshop, but it's hilarious. Just in case you were wondering who was pulling the strings for the Harris Walls ticket, Revolutionary Communists of America. And this is fake. It's fake, but it's, it might as well be real.
This sign.
Nice job faking it. Looks legit. Commie leaders down here. So Charlie, who posted this, he said, I'll take down my AI-generated pictures when the Harris Walls campaign takes down theirs. Because there have been a lot of allegations of them posting fake stuff recently. Joshua Graham in the chat, thanks for joining us, posting a link to about how Taylor Swift is allegedly a man. Let's hop over to Joshua Graham's channel for a second and see what he's saying over here. Might as well give it a little thumbs up, give it a follow. From TPV Sean.
It has long been claimed that Hollywood stars and entertainment industry celebrities must join the Illuminati to make it to the top of the industry. But few people outside of the Illuminati inner circle truly understand what this means. Thanks to backstage staff at Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concert in Warsaw, we now have insight into the sacrifices young entertainers must make to achieve success and fame in the industry. According to insiders with close access to the world's top artist in 2024, Taylor Swift may not be who she claims to be.
So would that mean that her NFL boyfriend is gay? Is that what that would mean? Seems like it to me. In other news, and thanks Joshua Graham, everybody can go check out that channel and his video. Link is in the chat. I'll add it to the show notes so you guys can watch later. In other news, Viva Frei warns the deep state may assassinate Kamala Harris for sympathy after they failed to kill Trump. to then pave the way for who their real candidate would be. This is, it sounds a little far-fetched, but they're playing some 3D chess over here, and it wouldn't surprise me if they ended up doing something like this. Jones was speculating for a while that they would kill Trump and then kill Biden to even it out, so this is entirely possible.
If I had to think like a scoundrel, what they noticed after the failed assassination attempt on Trump was an immediate spike in his popularity, an almost heroic rise, not just nationally, but internationally. You know, they were making anime cartoons about Trump dodging the bullet. And when you see the sympathy and the public outcry in response to a failed assassination attempt, you know, they could play that game. They can play that game on what they know to be a wildly unpopular candidate that they have currently. They can play an assassination now that they've just broadcast to the world how utterly useless the Secret Service is. They've basically, as far as I'm concerned, exposed Kamala Harris to something that they can then try to pin on an act of reprisal from the right who are angry at the attempted assassination on Trump. There's no depth to which they will not stoop. And that would, you know, if I'm thinking really cynically, and I hate putting this in the universe, Kamala's wildly unpopular. You could get a sympathy vote. You could impose martial law and say, well, now we can't even have elections anymore, at least in person, because of the risk of terrorism at polling stations. So all digital voting, and replace her with someone who's not known to be detestable and detested. I don't know if Michelle Obama, you know, people say she doesn't want to get into politics. I don't think the deep state leaves the choice to the people who have benefited from the deep state modus operandi. But it's really dark and sinister to think about what they would do. But everything they've done up to now, including the assassination attempt, has only increased Trump's popularity. So after the assassination attempt, knowing the degree to which it's enhanced his brand, they got to censor the image on Facebook, calling it an altered image. They got to suppress the search results on Google so that people can't even know about it. And a month later, instead of talking about it, they've suppressed the entire story. You understand? They're still talking about the JFK assassination 60 years later. Is it 60 years? Yeah, 60 years later. The only thing that makes this different than JFK's assassination is that Trump didn't die. The treatment, the disparate treatment, is inconceivable and unimaginable.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next.
All right, always love getting Viva Fry on. He is a recovering lawyer, as he says, a very popular talk show host.
Thanks, B.
And a friend. And he's always on fire. But he's been
try to follow Crazy B Gaming on YouTube.
Park, exposing the attempted assassination of Trump, the installation of Kamala Harris, different globalists, admitting there was a coup, admitting that they want to have civil war if Trump is reelected. Just all of it is so incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, an assassination would make perfect sense on Kamala to draw support for the Democrats, make it look like we're bad, we're evil, we're attacking, when of course they would do it. It would be the perfect way to frame MAGA, as we talked about them doing before. Likely that they'll stage some kind of attack, blame MAGA to try to attack us politically as usual, maybe round people up, who knows. In other news, we got a story that just dropped on Google, or on InfoWars, about Google admitting censorship of Trump assassination attempt was by design, called it hypothetical political violence. So we saw how Meta said that, we can talk about Kamala's campaign because it's real, but we can't talk about the Trump assassination because it's not something that actually happened. Now, apparently, Google admitted that its autocomplete search results surrounding the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump was censored by design as part of the company's policy for, quote, hypothetical political violence against current figures. Senator Roger Marshall, Republican of Kansas, a member of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, had launched an investigation into Google last month after it emerged the company's autocomplete search results did not register the attempted assassination of Trump. Quote, if the autocomplete function is truly reflective of the recent searches completed on Google, the self-learning algorithms should have easily adjusted their autocomplete function during a massive increase in search queries over the last 2 weeks. That's right, it's supposed to show you what people are searching for. The top searches, that's what's supposed to show up. And that's why it got popular. So it's like a bait and switch. They get you used to it, and then they start switching it out with what they want you to think. And then you think that's what people are really thinking. It's mind games. Mind games. Marshall also sent a letter to Google CEO Sundar Pichai on July 31st, demanding he show up before lawmakers and testify about the company's conduct. Responding to Marshall's letter on Monday, Google Vice President of Government Affairs and Public Policy tried to justify the policies that led to the censorship of the autocomplete search results. Quote, "We do not allow predictions that can be interpreted as accusations against individuals or groups of serious malevolent acts." What about, Donald Trump insurrection search results or search suggestions? I'm sure there were a ton of those. That would be false accusations against groups for serious malevolent acts, but they definitely allowed that. Quote, "where there is a lack of well-established or expert supporting evidence." Well, nobody has been convicted of insurrection, so there's no evidence of an insurrection. So not surprising, in the immediate aftermath of the horrific events in Butler, Pennsylvania, these systems were still in place and predictions related to the assassination attempt failed to appear. We recognize that these out-of-date systems led to an inadequate user experience. Yeah, right. They're blatantly manipulating this on purpose. Link will be in the description if you want to check out this article. Let's jump over to our next topic with Tulsi. Watch! Tulsi Gabbard is now suing the Biden-Harris administration for placing her on a terrorist watch list. This was Steve Watson at modernity.news. Steve Watson, Paul Joseph Watson's brother. Haven't heard a ton from him lately, but he does good work as well. He used to be more heavily involved with InfoWars back in the day. Former Democratic Representative Tulsi Gabbard is taking legal action against the Biden-Harris administration after she discovered that she has essentially been placed on a terrorist watch list. Gabbard, a military vet, had it brought to her attention by a federal air marshal whistleblowers that she had been marked under the Quiet Skies program, TSA scheme that seeks to identify travelers who may pose a risk to aviation security. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, with her Cruella de Vil hair, such a threat. Maybe the Dalmatians should watch out, but I don't think the FAA has anything to worry about. Those on the watch list are not banned from flying, but are subject to enhanced searches and surveillance at airports, including having armed air marshals accompanying them on flights. They've been following around a lot of January 6ers as well. Let's hop over to X and watch this video from Tulsi. Kamala Harris is not knowledgeable or strong enough to stand up to potential adversaries or, just as importantly, the unelected warmongers, i.e. the military-industrial complex, which profits from war, and the national security state, which uses these as a pretext to further clamp down on our freedom. Like Biden, she will simply be their puppet. We need a commander-in-chief strong enough to take charge. Trump will not be anyone's puppet. That's why the deep state will do everything possible to keep him out of the Oval Office.
Laura, I'm more interested, Laura, in what the American people are thinking. I've been seeing headline after headline saying, well, what is Kamala Harris's foreign policy going to be? And then you are reminded by these examples of how inexperienced and lacking of knowledge and strength that she is.
Yep, we get it. Kamala's bad. Here's the video about Tulsi taking legal action against the Biden-Harris admin. Posted by Seculo Law.
The closest word
Trump's
that I could think of.
Jordan and Jay Sekulow have been Trump lawyers for years now.
The closest word that I could think of that can begin to describe what I felt and what I feel in learning that actually, according to these whistleblowers, that I am on this Quiet Skies list, that my own government, my president, my commander-in-chief, is targeting me as a potential domestic terrorist.
Trapper,
the
220.
closest word that comes to mind is a complete sense of betrayal. And it's betrayal because I, like so many Americans, enlisted because of the Islamist terrorist attacks on 9/11. Enlisted to serve in our country's military, to ensure the safety, security, and freedom of the American people, to go after and defeat and destroy those Islamist terrorists who continue to pose the greatest short and long-term threat to us, to our security, and to our freedom. And so now, after serving over 21 years and continuing to serve in our nation's military, my own government has labeled and is targeting me directly now as a domestic terrorist, as they are many others. I'm not alone in this. Of course, this list is not being made public, but we can look to what the Biden-Harris administration has done in multiple cases of how they have there have been leaked conversations, leaked files, leaked documents, and even statements they've made in public saying that this threat of domestic terrorism and extremism is so great, and often very likely it is those in the military or military veterans who are these potential threats here at home. It is more than a slap in the face. It's more than a punch in the gut. It is a complete betrayal coming from our own government that they are using our taxpayer dollars, our resources. They're using people like the air marshals as weapons and pawns to target their political opponents, and that's really what this is all about. As a person, I feel, not only for myself but for my brothers and sisters in uniform, for those who have literally put their lives on the line to go after and defeat those terrorists who attacked us on 9/11, those who continue to pose a threat to us today, and all of that to have our own government come and point and set their sights on us and set their targets on us, saying that, no, actually, we are the domestic terrorists. Why? Of course, there's no explanation given, which is why we are taking legal recourse, why I'm so grateful for these whistleblowers and having the courage to stand up and present the evidence and proof, because, these secret lists, there are many of them. Quiet Skies is one of them. There are others that have occurred ever since 9/11 with the Patriot Act, weaponizing these institutions against Americans. All of these secret lists, there's no recourse. There's no way to know truly if you're on the list, how to get off the list, why you're on the list, why my own government is seeing me as a domestic terrorist. I can't tell you why, but I can make some assumptions based on the record of this administration that this is yet another tool they are using against their political opponents. Yeah. Obviously, I've been very outspoken about the dangers of the Biden-Harris administration to our democracy and to our freedom and to our national security. And this is what happens as a result.
Yeah,
Boom. Sketchy stuff. We're probably all on lists just for being involved with this show. I know I'm on lists. I was campaigning independently for Ron Paul back in 2012 up in New Hampshire during the primaries. And we had a big Ron Paul bus full of Ron Paul supporters, all decked out with big Ron Paul banners. We pulled up to this church where Rick Santorum was holding an event. Don't look up Santorum on on Urban Dictionary. Don't do it. They actually said it on The Boys this season of The Boys on Amazon Prime. I was like, holy shit, they just said Santorum. Don't look it up on Urban Dictionary. But we were out there with the Ron Paul signs so that when Santorum and everybody came out, the press would have to get our big Ron Paul signs on camera. We're standing there all lined up, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere on the street, a black sedan pulls up and screeches over to the curb. A dude gets out of the black sedan wearing a suit, wingtips, sunglasses, comes walking over to us, pulls out a camera, and just walks down the line of us Ron Paul supporters and just snaps a picture of each of our faces. So, and then got back in the car and just drove away. That was the craziest shit ever. Super, super crazy. Speaking of lawsuits, let's jump into our next topic. Colin Rugg posted this one at Colin Rugg. Colin with 2 L's, Rugg with 2 G's. Breaking. Elon Musk, and J.K. Rowling named in a lawsuit filed by Algerian boxer Iman Khalif, accusing them of, quote, acts of aggravated cyber harassment. Oh no, not cyber harassment. The complaint was filed to French authorities by Khalif's attorney, who says he hopes the prosecution investigates, quote, whoever it feels necessary on X. Quote, what we're asking is that the prosecution investigates not only these people, but whoever it feels necessary. If the case goes to court, they will stand trial, attorney Nabil Boudi said to Variety. Boudi said the lawsuit, quote, could target personalities overseas, adding that, quote, the prosecutor's office for combating online hate speech has the possibility to make requests for mutual legal assistance with other countries. Khalif went viral after dominating in the Olympics despite failing a gender test the year prior.
هذا الشيء اللي يبين كيفية تطور خليف إيمان
Let me narrate this for you guys. As to the question of whether I qualify or not, whether I am a woman or not, I have made many statements to the media saying that I fully qualify to take part in this competition. I am a woman, like any other woman. I was born a woman. I lived as a woman. I compete as a woman. There is no doubt about that. There are enemies of success. That is what I call them. They are just enemies of success. And just gives my gold medal an extra special taste because of their attacks. Well, then why are you suing? As to the question of okay, yeah, so then why are you suing if it's so great and it just makes your gold medal all that much better? Gunther Eagleman saying, it's a dude. Uh-oh, Colin Rugg replies, looks like Gunther's going to be named too. Brandon Straka, founder of Walk Away, says, yeah, keep your commie shit overseas. Calling somebody man, whether they are or aren't, isn't a lawsuit. Yeah, that's free speech. The only thing France accomplished in this Olympics was getting everyone to hate them, Colin Rugg says. Although that Gojira performance in the opening was badass. That kicked ass. Gojira is a great band. Definitely a great band. Let's jump over to our next topic over at Zero Hedge, talking about a retail apocalypse gaining a momentum all over America. Is your favorite chain closing stores? Michael Snyder wrote this at themostimportantnews.com. Why are retailers closing thousands of stores if the U.S. economy is in good shape? Of course, the truth is that the U.S. economy is not in good shape at all. The cost of living crisis is absolutely crushing working families all over the nation, and U.S. consumers simply don't have as much discretionary income as they once did. Needless to say, our retailers are highly dependent on discretionary spending. Yeah, that's why I went to music school, and then I was like, 2008 arrived. The collapse was incoming, which I predicted in my songs you've heard of before. My Ron Paul song released in like July 2008. I said the economy is about to collapse, and then boom, September it collapsed. Yeah, I was like, maybe it's not a good idea to get into a business based on luxury spending, and in other words, discretionary income. So I switched schools and was going to Arizona State University online for electrical engineering, but I just can't stay focused on stuff. This is all I'm good at focusing on. Sadly, needless to say, our retailers are highly dependent on discretionary spending, and many of them have been reporting very disappointing sales numbers recently. Sadly, the problems that our retailers are experiencing are only going to intensify as U.S. economic activity continues to slow down. According to CBS News, U.S. retailers have announced the closing of more than 3,000 locations in 2024. Great job, Kamala. This is what you want to vote to continue? The retail industry is going through a tough time as it copes with inflation-weary customers and a rash of bankruptcies, prompting chains to announce the closures of almost 3,200 brick-and-mortar stores so far in 2024, according to a new analysis. That's a 24% increase from a year ago, according to a report from a data retail provider, CoreSite, which tracks store closures and openings across the U.S. Whiskey, you're Klinger now? Sorry, distracted by the chat. Yeah, this is something we've been seeing with all kinds of restaurants shutting down businesses. Denny's just closed their last location in LA, I think. So it's bad. It's really bad. And it's only going to get worse. Of course, during the pandemic lockdowns, they made all the regular businesses shut down and then funneled everybody through the big box stores like Target, Walmart, forced people to shop on Amazon. And now that's all they can do. They're just stuck doing that. It's always a centralize and control operation, destroying small businesses, centralizing production, centralizing sales to a small series of mega corporations. That's what they do. They inflate bubbles, they collapse them, they buy up all the properties, and they expand the large mega corporations. So we got to wake up to that. We got to tie the dollar to gold again to prevent this from continuing to happen. Only way to stop inflation is to literally stop inflating, which means tying the dollar to gold, stop printing money because price is going up. That's not inflation. Inflation is an increase in the monetary base, more dollars being printed. So that would mean stopping spending money overseas because we had to stop printing money. And, you guys get it. You guys get it. Let's move on to the next topic. This is from... Who's this from? George at BeHizzy tweets. Breaking new bombshell footage shows a cop carrying a bag into the DNC headquarters in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. About 15 minutes later, the famous pipe bomb was discovered. So he says, so it's now 100% confirmed that our government was involved in a false flag operation to paint Trump supporters as domestic terrorists. It's also a fact that the FBI was there at the Capitol on J6 to entrap a peaceful crowd. Our tyrannical government hates us. And from what I understand, that footage showed this bomb being planted the night before, so I'm not exactly sure what he means or how this bag being delivered may be relevant, but it's new information, so I'm sending you guys out to crowdsource research and try to figure out what the hell's going on here. Let's check it out. And we can speed it up too, since there's no dialogue. So cop leaves the vehicle, enters the building. Backs in. Pulls out. Backs in again. Austin Powers turn over here. And the guy comes back. Who knows what the hell's going on here? Let me know if you guys have any insight. This gentleman walks right past an active bomb. Allegedly, it probably was an inert FBI training devices. We saw Jack Posobiec post pictures of FBI training bombs that looked exactly the same. Let's see. Gator just posted this in chat, I think. Let's see what's going on over here. Mama Mac shared it to the show notes. What the fuck? Wow. Someone's been doing their Kegels. In other news, the Taliban just had a military parade in Afghanistan using our equipment that was left during the disastrous Afghan withdrawal. Libs of TikTok posted this at Libs of TikTok. Hiya, Rychek, doing good work. Kamala was, quote, the last person in the room when the decisions were made regarding the withdrawal. Around $7 billion worth of equipment was left. That's the absolute low ball. Absolute low ball. The more accurate number may be around $80 billion worth of gear and money and weapons. So here's footage of their parade. Kamala is responsible for this. Libs says they're mocking the U.S. She made us a laughingstock. And here's footage of the military parade. We can speed this one up as well. Aloha snack bar. Sounds like an auction. Thanks, B. You guys can always email links, ideas to commoncensoredshow@proton.me. You can hit me up there directly if you want to talk. My DMs are also open on X at @LordSterling_. That's right, Gator. The search has begun. Mama's got a squeeze box. Daddy doesn't sleep at night.
Biden always said that he wants you to be the last person in the room, particularly for big decisions, just as he was for President Obama. He just made a really big decision. Afghanistan. Yes. Were you the last person in the room?
Real whiskey.
Yes. And you feel comfortable? I do. Biden always said that he...
So yeah, Kamala was the last person in the room. Good job, Kamala. You fucked us all over, moron. They're going to have to take her out. I'm not calling for it or anything like that, but it seems the logical move to take her out because she's so incompetent, can't even string together a sentence and a half, let alone one sentence. And they're going to have to use it as sympathy to put in, to garner votes for whoever their next candidate would be. It would not surprise me, guys. Viva Fry, may be onto something there. May be onto something. Let's see what we got next on the list. Jones posted this one. Are you ready for UN troops to occupy Western nations? They are officially announcing the plan. Posted by InfoWars fan at InfoWars_TV. They live, we sleep report. The end game. Total medical tyranny. 15-minute cities and humanity exterminated. Agenda 2020. Agenda 2030. Will you just shelter in place and wait for the end? Let's see what's going on here with this 3-minute, 30-second report.
They need a total medical tyranny in place and a total censorship grid so that once their world government is in place, they can, with electromagnetic waves, with radiation, with chemicals and biologicals, accelerate the extermination of humanity. And once they get a stampede going, once they get a mass collapse going, once they know with probability and have the smart grid in place to track your execution, they will then release bioweapons and other systems, knowing that you will just simply shelter in place, waiting for the driverless trash truck to arrive with the robots that will offload, go in and put your bodies in bags, take you out, throw you in the back, and take you for processing. So this whole system is a human extermination grid.
The movie 1984 never existed.
Damn, that's Orwellian.
Agenda 2020, Agenda 2030. They state that they want to get the human population down to 500 million to, quote, live in harmony with the earth.
No, to live in, maintain humanity at under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So not an exact quote, Alex, but you got the point across.
Now, that's what they tell people that are in the outer court. When you get into the deeper cult, they say, no, all humans must be gotten rid of. Humans are inherently bad, and we're going to merge with silicon and become gods. Now, I'd tell you that 26 years ago, and it sounded crazy, because these people are crazy.
Transhumanist futurists.
Now you're like, yeah, I saw that on CNN or ABC News, or I read a book about the world without humans.
Creating biological androids.
Bad. And NBC News says there'll soon be no humans left by 2050 because we're going to merge the machines, and then they will get rid of the humans. And this is really their plan. And so, of course, when they said we'll be locked down for 2 weeks, it was permanent. Of course, they are counting on you believing you're complying because you're told you're a hero, when really all you're doing is collapsing the global economy. The third world is totally dependent on us. We are dependent on the third world. You cut the two,
is biology.
The global structure falls. A world war could not bring us to our knees like this is going to do unless nuclear weapons. But nuclear weapons will kill the planet for the establishment. So they're not using nuclear weapons. They're using economic warfare and psychological warfare to carry all of this out.
Stay compliant. Stay isolated. Stay safe.
Think for authority. Question yourself.
And now, on to other news. Say goodbye to cows and beef. As you might know, cows and livestock agriculture in general is a source of methane, a powerful greenhouse gas. Cows fart, and the temperature on Earth rises 1 degree with each cow fart, contributing to global warming. This is why the authorities started a cow extermination program, and today the last herd of cows has been dealt with. The Earth has officially become a cow-free planet.
Fuck those cows. Boom. Good stuff. That was nicely done. Very nicely done. In other news, we have footage that's just been released, a photograph of Kamala releasing the monkeypox. Thanks, Whiskey, for posting this. Fly, my pretties. Oh, man. So brutal. So brutal. Let's have a little bit of fun. How about this? You guys are curious about the Ark of Noah. I was watching this video about a Babylonian map of the world from the British Museum Curator's Corner with this guy, Erwin Finkel, I think is his name. And they're talking about this ancient clay cuneiform Sumerian tablet with a map of the known world at that point. And it has some really information about the Ark of Noah. and its location. We played before videos of what is called the Duru Pinar site up on Mount Ararat, which seems to be the remaining skeleton of an ancient, massive ship, and there have been anchor stones found nearby. We're talking like 8,000 feet up on this mountain, or some ridiculous height up in this mountain. That link you just posted, Gator, does not work. FYI. So let's hop into this video and hear what the Babylonians had to say about the Ark of Noah. This is fascinating.
Opened a bottle of bubbly and danced around in the gallery. The time came to think very seriously about what this meant, because the tablet is very famous. It's often reproduced in all sorts of different encyclopedias and books about ancient ideas and histories of maps, of course, and it's quite a famous object. And to make a join to that was an extraordinary thing. But then
I got the link to work, Gator.
What did it tell us? Against one of the diagonals, there was, in cuneiform, the expression, the Great Wall.
Great Wall?
I'm going to read you what the scribe tells us about this triangle. To the fifth, which you must travel 7 leagues. That means you have to row across the bitter river for 7 leagues before you can land at the foot of the mountain. The Great Wall, its height is 840 cubits.
840 cubits. A cubit is like longer than a foot. Somewhere between a foot and 3. We're talking like Game of Thrones height wall here. Could this have possibly existed in antiquity?
Its trees up to 120 cubits. By day you can't see in front of yourself. By night, lying on ... it's still broken. Then you must go another 7 leagues in the sand, and you must ... because there's always ... because nothing is perfectly preserved. But the important thing is, we now know which of the triangles goes with the description of this gigantic wall. As a result of Edith's discovery, we've got 3 of these triangles in a row. And that is a great boon, because you can imagine, if you have isolated triangles, trying to match them to the description on the back, it's very difficult to get anywhere seriously and reliably. But when you've got 3 in a row, all you have to do is to find 3 descriptions in a row, and it stands to reason that you'll be able to somehow match them up. And that is what we did.
That's
and
detective
the discovery
work.
Was very clear once you realize that the counting was anti-clockwise and not clockwise. So number 4 says, to the 4th, to which you must travel 7 leagues, because it's like a kind of fairy tale. Everybody knows it's always the same introduction. So each time you have to travel 7 leagues across the water. Then it gets a bit broken. Then it says, you see something which are as thick as a parsiktu vessel. This parsiktu measurement is something to an Assyriologist which makes their ears prick. And the fact is, it's only once otherwise known from cuneiform tablets. And it's rather an interesting cuneiform tablet too, because it is the description of the ark which was built, theoretically, in about 1800 BC by the Babylonian version of Noah. And in this account, the details are given, and the god says, you have to do this, this, and this. And then the Babylonian Noah said, I did this, this, and this. I've done it. And I made these structures as thick as a parsiktu vessel, he says out of his own mouth, in the original story. So this word parsiktu is like a kind of noise. It immediately locks in to this thing on the map. Immediately.
This guy's hilarious.
Incontrovertibly. So what it means, speaking plainly here, if I may speak plainly here, is that if you went up this mountain all the way with your sandwiches and breaking regularly for lungfuls of fresh air, eventually you would see against the night sky or the dark sky of the outer universe, silhouetted the ribs made of wood as thick as a parsiktu vessel of the wreck of the Babylonian ark, which, like the one in the Bible, came to rest on a mountain. And
getting my
come down the
groin
mountain and cross over the water back to the homeland, the first place you come to is called Urartu. It's drawn on the map. Now, the interesting thing about that is that in the Bible, Noah, in his ark, landed on a mountain where the name is Ararat, and Ararat is the Hebrew equivalent of the Assyrian Urartu. That's quite a meaty thing, quite
a coincidence. Ararat, Urartu, the same word translated from Babylonian to the Christian language, Hebrew, I guess, from the Bible. Same location, same boat, same story. Amazing, amazing. And we talked about the Duru Pinar site, which is on the mountain in question here, which seems to be the skeleton of a massive ancient boat.
Interesting thing to think about, because it shows that the story was the same, and of course that one led to the other, but also that from the Babylonian point of view, this was a matter-of-fact thing, that if you did go on this journey, you would see the remnants of this historic boat which saved all the life of the world for the long-term future, from which we, of course, profit today, still there in the crags against the dark sky.
Man, so epic.
So what does this actually...
So cool. So we talked previously about this, but here's some more information about it. The Duru Pinar site over on Mount Ararat. And look at it. It looks like a big-ass remnants of an ancient boat. And they've done tests and found regular structures going across it and little metal pieces and stuff. This may be the remnants of the Ark. And maybe at one point, the side pieces stuck up like bony crags visible from down here against the silhouette of the sky in antiquity. Could be true, guys. Could be true. Babylonians recording the same story told in the Bible. Let's hop over to this next one with the John Williams Olympics. You guys may be familiar with John Williams, who wrote music for most of the top Hollywood movies of all time. Somebody did an Olympics flip book style thing for John Williams. Let's check this out. This is pretty legendary.
Oh, stop.
That's right, JJR. There you go.
It's getting pretty tall up here. That's enough. That's enough. We gotta stop. We gotta stop this.
Harry Potter. I didn't know he did that. Modern day Mozart or something.
Phew.
He did the Olympic theme song. So cool. So cool. So big ups, big props to John Williams, whose catalog of music is just off the chain. Greatest modern composer for film or in general, maybe of all time. Him and Hans Zimmer up there at the top. Gator found they've started the monkeypox testing, guys. Started it. So keep your pants on and keep your windows closed. Do not submit. Let's hop over. We gave John Williams some props. Let's give some props to another great modern composer. This one in a little bit of a different genre. You guys may be familiar with Samson, the rapper with the legendary MAGA mullet. This guy's reactions over here to this Samson song are great. Let's check it out.
September 11th, 2001, and January 6th, 2021.
You bitch.
Loose
Newsflash, nobody gives a fuck about it. We all admit that shit was pretty dumb, but that's about it. When we saw the news, we were shocked and we were kind of tense. Like, damn. Then we forgot about it by the 10th. Nobody's walking around stressing over Jan 6. It happened and that was it. We haven't gave a damn since. It's all good when riots are kept in the hood, but now you're freaking out cause this was in the neck of your woods. Now it's a big deal. Now it gets real. Now it's important to us. Not back then in 2020 when stores were boarded up. Not back then when goods were looted and folks were brutalized. Not then, but right now, cause it happened to the suit and ties. That shit's way above my head. We were fucking shit up all year with demonstrations that left dozens dead. But people like Nancy didn't flinch. In fact, they loved it then. People will do what they do. Bitch, ain't that what you said? Yep. There's literally compilation videos of you and all your colleagues inciting this kind of crap. So it's very fascinating to watch you swallow your words. You put your own foot in your mouth and now you're forced to dial it back. It's fine when you encourage it in my town, in his town, in her town, when the whole fucking city's being burnt down.
Fuck yeah,
you smile
Mandy.
as you give the green light for mobs to rob shit, but as soon as it comes close to you, then it's a problem. Got it.
Boom, that's right. Billdozer74, make sure to sub to Billdozer74 on Rumble. He'll be live tomorrow night, 9:30 Central Time. Let's jump over to our next topic. Crazy B at Crazy B8383 sent this one to me. Thanks, B. DC Drano posted this one at DC_Drano. They aren't trying to hide it anymore. New York Times is now openly confirming their master plan with open borders immigration. They want to replace American voters with foreign voters who lean left. The important parts here highlighted: the surge in naturalization efficiency isn't just about clearing backlogs. It's potentially reshaping the electorate. Merely months before a pivotal election, says Xiao Wang, Wang, chief executive of Boundless, a company that uses government data to analyze immigration trends and that offers services to immigrants who seek professional help in navigating the application process. Every citizenship application could be a vote that decides Senate seats or even the presidency, so they're trying to replace the electorate. Yeah, Smellin, I didn't know he did the music for Harry Potter either. Incredibly talented. Him and Hans Zimmer. If you're not familiar with Hans Zimmer, you'll enjoy his soundtracks. He did the Dune soundtracks recently, which were really good. Really good. So good. Let's jump over to our next topic. A reminder, right now it's 8:33. We'll be shutting down at 9, and I'll be posting a link in the chat so we can all head over to Unique Prepping for his panel tonight, which I will be participating. Whew. I almost did it. I almost ended a sentence in a preposition there. That would not have been good, guys.
You are a federal agent. You represent the United States government. Never end a sentence with a preposition.
Oh, of course, though, I am definitely not a federal agent. So, you know.
Shouldn't we
clearly.
at least consider the possibility that Duncan is a spy?
No, we shouldn't. We should not consider that. Not a Fed. Closing the books on that. All right, let's jump over to our next topic. What do we got next? The UK is lost. Jim Hoft on Gateway Pundit. UK has lost 61-year-old retiree sentenced to 18 months for screaming, "Who the fuck is Allah?" at police at a recent protest. So you can't even ask questions anymore. Otherwise, it's right to jail right away. Retiree David Spring is arrested in the UK for, quote, violent disorder after screaming, "Who the fuck is Allah?" at police. 61-year-old Sutton man was sentenced to 18 months in prison for attending an anti-immigrant protest and screaming, "Who the fuck is Allah?" David Spring, a retiree who takes care of his ailing wife, apologized to the court after he was sentenced this week. No apologies, man. Don't apologize for your speech. The UK is a cesspool, bro. Cesspool. Spring and several hundred protesters took to the streets after 3 little girls were murdered by a man with an African roots whose parents moved to the UK years ago. Protesters broke out across England following the mass murder of the little girls. UK media continues to report that it was the far right that were upset with the mass murder and took to the streets. Socialist Prime Minister Keir Starmer vowed to hunt down and jail the protesters, including people that are commenting from America and other countries, saying that they will extradite people. Completely insane. Completely insane. So this guy is going to be going to jail for asking a question. Sorry if you don't like the question, but you're... I'm going to try to stay calm. Try to stay calm. Next, Here we go again. Shake my head. Crazy Beast sent this one from Stargazer UK7 at Stargazer UK7. Oh, for fuck's sake, she says, terrifying sloth fever virus has spread to humans with 19 victims in Europe so far, and now experts warn, quote, we should be worried. This could become unstoppable. Oh my. If it's a sloth virus, though, hopefully it moves really slow. Maybe we can just outrun it. That was dumb. So keep your eyes out for sloth fever. Add that to the list. Monkeypox, sloth fever, you name it. Shit is going to get crazy before the election for sure. How about this one? Coming out of California, I think this was. Report border agents told to turn in family and coworkers over election beliefs. Jeff Rainforth wrote this article. A guest post, quote, I've been filming on borders around the world since early 2019, and I always encounter government agents who want to tell me what's really going on behind the scenes. My latest tour on the border of Jacumba, California has been no different. Jeff Rainworth posts. An agent who spoke to me under the condition of that he remains anonymous told me that immediately after Joe Biden took office in 2021, official email communications from his administration instructed all Border Patrol agents to turn in family members, friends, and coworkers if they believed that the election was stolen or tampered with. Insane. The communications also directed agents to turn in people if they knew if they were against the COVID-19 jabs and lockdowns. Emails directing agents to hand over names may have gone out to all federal agencies, although the agent did not indicate this. The agent also told me that it was a profound 180-degree change from when Donald Trump was president. Of course, Biden was sworn in as president 14 days after January 6th. His administration obviously wanted to monitor Trump supporters. I was the videographer for the March for Trump cross-country bus tour, which culminated at the Capitol in D.C. on January 6th, and I filmed the protest there. All I saw were hundreds of thousands of people being peaceful. A tiny percentage came violent before the main group got there, and I didn't see them. Yeah, while Trump was still speaking, obviously all the shit went down. But they're trying to tell people to turn in their family and friends if they simply believe that the election was stolen or manipulated. Completely insane. How about this? Apparently, Kamala Harris is such a nervous Nelly that that she had to hold, or at least they had planned but didn't follow through, I think, with mock dinners so she could prepare and pretend to be discussing with the people that she was going to be meeting with. Let's hop over to Fleckus Talks from their episode from yesterday. They release episodes Tuesday and Friday, and Bonus Land members get special Saturday segments as well. But let's check out this crazy Kamala story.
Well, she never has. And then remember back in 2022, there was an article about how she used to get anxiety before big events. So
I never heard this, so this was news to me.
Her staffers would set up mock dinners and mock events where she could pretend to be talking to the other world leaders. Can you read that?
Yeah, and I think we covered this on the show, so this is like a refresher. Harris was the guest for a dinner at DC news mogul David Bradley's home, a salon-style event Bradley hosts with the Washington journalists and newsmakers. Harris's anxiety about the dinner was such that her staff held a mock dinner beforehand with staffers playing participants, according to two people familiar with the event. Harris aides even considered including wine in the mock prep so Harris could practice with a glass or two. So ultimately, they decided against it.
Yeah, but I'm sure she's ready to be tough with Putin and crack down on China.
Yeah, so a week or a dinner with David Bradley, you need 1 day of prep, a whole night, a whole fake night. With Putin, you need like a month. So
yeah, and those people were on her side. It was like a fundraiser.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like it was a hostile event where you're going to be asked tough questions. She was just nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we actually have a little compilation of her. There's a theory that she's a lizard in a skin suit.
Oh yeah, it's for sure. We've confirmed that now. We've already seen all the clips they're going to play, just regular old news clips. Jumping over to our next topic, Kamala-related. Hundreds of families forced to vacate from Colorado apartment complex after Kamala Harris's Venezuelan migrant gang members take over the building. Christina Layla wrote this one as well. Kamala Harris's America. An apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado, is closing after Kamala Harris's Venezuelan migrant gang known as Tren de Aragua took over the building. Hundreds of families were forced out of their apartment units thanks to Kamala Harris's dangerous open border policies. She's the border czar, of course, so this is on her. Many of the evicted families are struggling to find new homes. This is America. This is America, dude, where people are being forced out of their apartment complexes by crazy illegals. It's insane. The city of Aurora tried claiming the apartment building is being shut down due to code violations. However, a city council member says that's all a lie. Quote, "We are not buying this," said Aurora City Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky. Quote, "We believe that, yes, there are code violations, but this started because of a gang takeover. That's what we believe." A task force is investigating Tren de Aragua's connection to the Aurora apartment complex. Quote, "The Aurora Police Department, in partnership with the Raven Task Force, has assigned 4 detectives to a special task force that includes additional local, state, and federal partners to investigate violent crime impacting our migrant community," said an Aurora Police Department spokesperson last week. Crime is rampant in the apartment complex due to Crime is rampant at the apartment complex due to Kamala Harris's Venezuelan gang members. Quote, "According to statistics provided by an Aurora City spokesman, calls for service at 1568 Nome Street have increased in recent years. In 2022, APD investigated 41 crimes at the site. In 2023, police investigated 84 crimes. As of July 31st, officers have investigated 66 crimes at the property so far this year in 2024. Totally crazy. Fedora the Explorer, good to see you, Fedora. Thanks for being here. Hope you're having a good hump day.
Hump day.
Denver 7 reported the Aurora Police Department says it has assigned detectives to a special task force to investigate a Venezuelan gang's alleged connections to the city. The announcement came during a city council public safety meeting on Thursday. Quote, "We have stood up a task force specific to this group," said APD Acting Deputy Chief Chris Jewell. Jewell, interesting. Didn't realize that was actually a name. Quote, "We are actively looking at who they are, what they are doing, how many are there, what is the reality of the situation compared to what the other public information that's going around there nationally is. Sir, you are a representative of your community. Never end a sentence with a preposition. So keep your eyes out for this. This could be could be soon to be happening all over the country with migrants taking over apartment complexes. Who knows? Lady Hamilton, what's up? Ow! Good to see you. Howl in the chat. Members of the pack. Oh, man. Just never ends. Never ends. Let's see. Gator shared this one in chat. Let's see what's going on here. Me showing you a preview of the next Olympic sport. Oh, God. Oh, bra snapping? How many bras can you undo in a minute?
Ready, Sean? You take it out. Yep. That's it. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Damn. Dude's been around the block.
10 seconds. Ready, Sean?
Good find, Gator. Good find. In other horrifying news, an explosive EV failure in a packed parking garage has left 21 people hospitalized. This by Jared Harris at the Western Journal. The fiery failure of an electric vehicle led to countless other cars being damaged and caused conditions hostile enough to send nearly 24 people to the hospital. The devastating incident unfolded on the morning of August 1st as an electric Mercedes-Benz EQE caught fire while parked in a packed underground garage below an Incheon, South Korea apartment complex. The vehicle was not charging or running when it ignited, just spontaneous combustion like the drummer from Spinal Tap. Just all that was left was a little green globule on the drum seat. According to Korea Jungang Daily, the fire department received nearly 200 calls when the fire spread and belched black smoke into the sky. In total, 177 first responders arrived to fight the fire and handle evacuations of the complex. Despite the massive response, it took emergency crews 8 hours to extinguish the blaze completely. Once those EVs go up in flames, they're like impossible to put out. Super dangerous. This is another reason why I like internal combustion engines. In total, 106 people were rescued as smoke filled the area, and 103 others were evacuated. No deaths were reported, but 21 people were sent to the hospital with injuries sustained during the fire. Several children and a firefighter were among those hospitalized. Surveillance video from the garage showed white smoke streaming from the Mercedes. An explosion followed a few seconds later, igniting the blaze.
네, 알아요. 동호수 확인했어요. 여자분으로. 네. 네, 공부십니다.
Sketchy stuff, guys. Sketchy stuff. I don't trust these EVs, man. I don't trust them. So hopefully this doesn't happen anytime soon near us. In other news, Gateway Pundit guest contributor wrote this one: election interference or constitutional crisis. The alarming censorship of political texts in Minnesota's crucial primary. Report. Let's see what's going on. In a blatant act of electoral interference, approximately 30% of political text messages aimed at mobilizing Republican voters in Minnesota's open primary are being blocked right now. This isn't just any election. It's a pivotal contest between Rep. Ilhan Omar and Don Samuels, which she ended up winning, a battle with profound implications for conservative values and the ideological balance of power. Rep. Ilhan Omar, a member of the Progressive Squad, is notorious for her far-left policies, including calls to defund the police and criticisms of Israel, which starkly contrast with conservative principles. Well, conservative principles would be minimal spending, and so sending billions of dollars to Israel is not conservative. Let's be clear. So I don't think that that's necessarily rings true. Rep. Ilhan Omar, a member of the Progressive, read that one. Don Samuels, her challenger, proposes a potential shift towards more centrist policies, emphasizing community safety and bipartisan collaboration. His victory could mark a crucial ideological shift in a district long dominated by progressive agendas. Too bad it didn't happen. However, the effective silencing of conservative voices through the censorship of crucial political communication unveils a disturbing potential to sway election outcomes. By blocking a substantial portion of voters from receiving messages that inform them of their right to participate in the Democrat primary, telecommunications companies are not just infringing on First Amendment rights, but are engaging in what can only be described as covert election engineering. This is huge. Blocking text messages in the middle of a political race from political campaigns? Crazy. Total election interference. There needs to be a massive investigation of this. Nuts. This is not merely a failure of technology or a glitch in the system. It is a calculated suppression of political speech. The blocked messages were designed to encourage Republican participation in an open primary, a leading strategy to influence electoral outcomes, and a practice historically used by both parties. Yet, by selectively censoring these messages, carriers may be swaying the electoral outcome, depriving conservatives of the opportunity to challenge a prominent progressive incumbent in a critical election. The implications of this are indeed seismic. Seismic. You could almost, you could say they are astronomical?
Astronomical.
Astronomical. Astronomical implications of this. This is crazy. This is crazy. In a district where elections can be decided by razor-thin margins, every vote, and indeed every message, counts. Censorship of political texts could literally change the outcome of elections, undermining the electoral process and our democratic norms. We're not a democracy nonetheless. Freedom of speech means freedom of reach. You're both infringing on the speech of the campaigns and on the rights of the people to receive the messages from the campaigns. These people should be sued into oblivion. Into oblivion. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Let's see our next post. Back across the pond. Mama Mac shared this one with me. Could be a good thing to warn anybody traveling to the UK. Yeah, consider this your warning, guys. Robert Malone, one of the creators of the mRNA technology, posted this. The UK is under a totalitarian regime. It has fallen to tyranny under PM Keir Starmer. One former member of parliament told me this morning that close to 1,000 arrests have been made for sharing online posts in the last week. 1,000 arrests for sharing online posts. You got to be kidding me. The same MP advised me that even a stopover through Heathrow isn't safe for Americans who've spoken out against immigration issues. Quote, one key aspect that makes this apparent crackdown on social media particularly shocking to critics is that the British government is threatening to extradite American citizens from the U.S. to be jailed in the U.K. for violating their rules under about political speech online. From the New York Post, Britain is now under siege. UK police commissioner threatens to extradite jail U.S. citizens over online posts. We'll come after you. So if you're planning on going somewhere in Europe and you're even touching down in the UK, they could arrest you while you're at Heathrow. This is nuts, man. This is nuts. I saw this post from Bright Insight earlier today, which played into a conversation that I was having with my de facto advisor, the lady Silence Dogood, a couple days ago. This is interesting. This is seriously incredible. He says, Stonehenge was already mysterious, but this new discovery just took it to a whole nother level, a whole new level. Check this out, guys.
The mystery of Stonehenge just got deeper. New research reveals that 5,000 years ago, the altar stone largely buried at the centre of the ring was brought from northern Scotland and not from Wales as previously thought. Somehow, Neolithic people with only primitive tools moved a 6-ton rock the length of Britain. The scientists were stunned.
This sort of transportation distance is amazing. It looks like a sandstone rock that's micaceous, so it's a little bit glittery. You would think, oh wow, there's rocks like this in pretty close to here. I would have expected it to come from there, but no, absolutely gobsmacked. It's definitely Scottish. So.
And well worth
absolutely gobsmacked. It's totally Scottish.
Bringing that distance quite clearly.
For these people, that rock had a lot of significance.
The new finding means Stonehenge was built with rocks brought from across the island of Britain. The largest, the 25-ton sarsen stones, were brought from the Marlborough Downs in Wiltshire, just 20 miles away. The smaller bluestones were transported from the Preseli Hills in West Wales, a distance of 140 miles. And now research shows the altar stone came the furthest, 500 miles from the Orcadian Basin that lies north of Inverness.
How exactly the stone was transported so far is unclear. If it came over land, people would have had to bring it through dense forests and over mountains. Alternatively, it could have been brought by sea on a giant raft. But this is a huge stone. The geologists used techniques from the mining industry to study crystals within the altar stone. It provided a unique signature that matched rocks in Scotland.
It certainly implies a huge level of communication, exchange, people travelling. It's quite hard for us with our modern mindset, I think, to imagine.
The finding gives archaeologists more to ponder. Stonehenge was probably a temple, but why a rock from Scotland had such significance is a puzzle. Thomas Moore, Sky News in Wiltshire.
Stop the presses! I may have the answer. I was talking with Silence Dogood the other day, who's reading the Bible, and apparently at the start of the Bible, somewhere towards the start, they talk about convening meetings with faraway cultures, and in the process of making treaties and stuff, big rocks would be brought from foreign cultures, set up, the rock being from that area as proof that negotiations took place with this faraway land. It would be placed, and then circles of stones around them would be erected, the stones representing the witnesses to the pact, whether it was a trade agreement, whether it was a peace agreement or a military alliance, whatever. So you bring in a stone from the country or the area with whom you're negotiating, you erect stones around it for the people witnessing it. This is apparently right out of the Bible. And the astrological alignments with Stonehenge and potentially other sites as well may have been cosmological date markers to mark the date and astrological time of said pacts and agreements. So this is a potential biblical explanation for the purpose of these stone circles that we find all over the world with stones that are brought from faraway locations, signifying ancient pacts and deals made between cultures with rocks to prove that they were brought from those places, so that in generations in the future, if people tried to say, oh, this agreement never took place, blah, 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 well, come and look. We got the glittery The glittery stone from Scotland over here in England. This is proof that we made a deal. Now you got to abide by the deal. So that's pretty interesting. And like I said, the various astrological alignments could be time markers to indicate the year in which the deals took place. So this could be a potential explanation. I posted this in response and have gotten a couple 29 likes in just a few minutes. I posted this 6:20. So people are finding it interesting, apparently. I thought it was interesting, and thanks to Silence Do-Good, my de facto advisor, for the interesting perspective on that. Just so happens that it fit perfectly with this topic. All right, guys, we're going to start wrapping it up as I prepare to head over to Unique Prepping to participate in tonight's panel. Let me grab a link to the show so you guys can all transfer over and join me on Unique Prepping. Here we are. Boom. Escaping the system and becoming free thinkers. I'm going to take the link to this broadcast, post it over in the chat, and pin it to the top just like a raid, so you guys can all come and join us over on Unique Prepping on YouTube, so we can all hang out with Z-Man. He hit 1,500 subs 2 weekends ago. Celebrated 2 years of making videos, being a YouTuber on last Tuesday, and we're going to have a fun conversation tonight. The link is now pinned at the top right over the chat, so come on over to Unique Prepping and hang out with us as we have a fun discussion over there. Going to be a couple panelists as well as Z-Man. So thank you guys for being here. Feel free to click over there at any moment. It's going to be starting in just a couple minutes. So we'll wrap it up here. This has been episode 216, if you can believe it. We're approaching like 1,000 hours of broadcasting at this point, which is pretty wild. All American social security numbers may have been hacked and stolen with a new data breach. 2.9 billion files extracted from the U.S. government. Trump considers firing campaign managers, including Susan Wiles, who's a big pharma shill. So that would be good news if that were to happen. Ilhan Omar won sketchy election. Make sure to join us Monday through Friday as we break down all the crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos. That's right, Lady Hamilton, of course, the glitter stone. And from Scotland, where we toss midgets and do fun stuff like that over there. Use hashtag Common Censored, hashtag Info Infantry. When you share the show, let us know how many times you've shared so we can tally them up and issue the proper ranks and promotions to you guys in the Info Infantry. Pick your branch, Army, Marines, Navy. Awesome getting. Thanks for joining us over at Unique Prepping. Army, Marines, Navy, Space Force, Air Force, Coast Guard, and potentially Special Ops. Do missions, complete missions for the show. And rank up in the Info Infantry. Missions, all it is just sharing the broadcast across the interwebs. So click this link over to Unique Prepping in the chat. Come join us over there, and we'll be back with more Common Censored tomorrow. But make sure to join us tonight because the conversation is going to continue in just a couple seconds over on Unique Prepping on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining us over there. I know Z-Man will appreciate it, and it's going to be a fun show. So come hang out with us as we talk about all kinds of fun stuff over there. We'll be back tomorrow for more Common Censored. Until then, think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. And smash that like button, guys. Thanks again to Big As Life for the big rumble rant at the start of the show before we even started broadcasting. Appreciate you dropping that money bomb on us, brother. Hope you guys all have an excellent hump night, and we will be back tomorrow for more Common Censored. Until then, peace. And come join us on Unique Prepping. Click that link and come join us. It's going to be fun. Show Z-Man some support. We love Z-Man. We love unique prepping. Catch you guys later. Peace.